What's good with the folks? So I find it necessary uh, to again clarify this topic here. We have Moors. Uh, we have Moors that desire to mix Moorish Divine National Movement, which is not a Back to Africa movement, with Back to Africa movements. And so I would like to take this opportunity to dispel the misinformation that is being presented by all of these foreign Muslims. And I'm using Noble Drew Ali and his words, right? Not my own. So, Noble Drew Ali expresses, "It is most earnestly hoped that the Moorish Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. Such is not important insofar as American citizens of our group colonizing Africa are concerned." So again, we have Moorish Americans out there, Moroccan Americans out there, and all these other, who are attempting to assert some type of allegiance to Morocco, the kingdom, as opposed to allegiance to the Moroccan Empire, which is global. And we have these people out here who, I guess, they wish to return to Africa, but they keep mixing Noble Drew Ali's information. Here, let me see. Okay, yeah, no, y'all are able to speak. Cool, yeah, right. So this is Noble Drew Ali in his work telling us that we should not even concern ourselves with the Moroccans who were colonizing Africa. Okay, here, let me show you all. This is from the Moorish literature pamphlet, which is about 47 articles from the Moorish Guide newspaper, which was Noble Drew Ali's voice of the movement, right? You'll see newspaper article 34 is titled Moorish Science Temple of America. And I've taken this excerpt from this literature to expose the bull stuff that other people are attempting to heap onto this movement. When you hear supposed Moorish Americans, and I'm going to just have to call them that, when you hear supposed Moorish Americans speaking about some type of returning to Morocco, right? This is not the Moorish Divine and National Movement that produced the secured party creditor information that I myself am utilizing and teaching. In order to be a secure party and creditor in America, as an American, you have to pledge your allegiance to America solely. Okay? Completely. Drew Ali has been letting his Moorish Americans know that they are American citizens. He says he calls Drew Ali calls his Moors American citizens. And I want to put this out here too, because there was a time when there was a Moorish American who he was saying, Drew Ali never called us Americans. And I'm like, well, he called us American citizens. He's like, but he didn't call us Americans. Right? And that is inaccurate as well. So I'm going to find that information and read it to you just so that we know for a fact that Drew Ali not only called his Moorish Americans American citizens, but that he did in fact call them Americans. And when I read this statement, we will know without doubt or contradiction who Drew Ali was calling Americans, okay? Mm. Just real quick though, all right? If you ever get your hands on this literature and you rethink this over, you Moors, this right here, this highlighted line, is telling the Moorish Americans specifically to utilize House Joint Resolution 192 whenever it was to come into play, because this information was in 1929, and so Drew Ali definitely was foretelling of the utilization of House Joint Resolution 192. What is it? What shall we call him? Right? He calls us Asiatics of America. He doesn't call us North African subjects. Sure. Oh, and I'm going to read that too. So let me just read this real quick while I'm still wish to find. So hold on. Yeah, let me. Right. Hell yeah, I'm going to read this. This needs to be read first and foremost. This is called To the Members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. He says, Islam. This is the instruction from your prophet, meaning professional, Noble Drew Ali, professional representative. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on. But the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that is why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins or their debts. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving. And they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation, which is citizenship, national citizenship, that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Listen. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples which are now the states. Act accordingly, and Allah, the state, will bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Drew Ali. I just felt the need to read that out there, put that out there, right? But we're going to, right, see all of this stuff of Drew Ali telling us that we're American citizens and we ain't got really much to deal with as far as Africa is concerned. Now I'm trying to recall in my mind because I'm not seeing what I'm looking for. Is it a nickname? I don't think so, but we'll see. Hold on. Yes, here we go. All right. So, in Drew Ali's literature, right, this is article number 31 called Nicknamed. Okay? So we're going to read what was spoken about, right? Listen to this, y'all. When the forefathers of the Moorish Americans were first brought to this nation, they had a nationality and a name. But in order to separate them from the achievements of their fathers, a name was given to them which had no connection whatsoever with the founders of civilization. They were nicknamed Negroes. Today in this nation, there are no such things as Negroes in the sense that they are called. Just why so many of the intelligent Americans will continue to cling to this nickname, Negro, is hard to understand. So just in that first sentence, Drew Ali called us Americans. Not just American citizens, but he called us Americans. He says if you look in some dictionaries, you will see that the word Negro means a sly person, a coon. If this is not an insult to the illustrious history of a nation, there can never be one given. Just as they have saddled on the Moorish Americans the name Negro, they have also given him a religion that was made to enslave him and stop his progress. It is the duty of every man who lives to redeem the name of his forefathers and not be herded in a mass of weaklings. It is the duty of every man who lives to redeem the name of his forefathers and not be herded into a mass of weaklings. Stop referring to yourself as Negro, colored, and black, for you are neither. If you are men, American citizens, speak up for yourselves, or it will never be done. So here we see that Drew Ali, Islam. Stop that. We're coming in now, right? Drew Ali, not only does he call Moorish Americans Americans, he also calls them American citizens. Okay, again, this is for those who like to argue for whatever reason and say that Moorish Americans, according to Noble Drew Ali, are not American. See, they don't say that according to Noble Drew Ali, we're not American citizens. They say according to their own understanding, we're not American citizens. Much love to you. But I'm telling you, Drew Ali, and this is how you know, who has taken this information and has mixed it or amalgamated other information with it. Because again, Drew Ali is telling you you're an American citizen. Drew Ali is telling you to answer up, apply to your government by name, by national name and principles. Drew Ali is telling you everything he possibly can to link you back with the constitutional fold of American government. So if he's linking us back to the constitutional fold of American government, then he's not linking us to any African government. Right? Make sense? All right, let me finish this out. As long as you wear the clothes of another, or live in the house of another, or depend on another in any manner, you are truly a slave to them. I'd rather be a slave to the state than to be a slave to any man under the state. To me, the state is Allah. Anywho, if you would be free, indeed, you must seek the truth. You must know the truth of your nationality and the name of your people. My people are Pennsylvanians. My people are Pennsylvanians and Americans. He says, you must know the truth of your nationality and the name of your people. You must not be a coward and deny yourself the personal rights that belong to every man. It's a powerful words coming from this man, right? And then again, 32, we're now going to find out again that Moorish Americans are not to be acknowledged as or identified as slave descendants. Okay? It says demanding hours. The idea inculcated in the purposes of the Moorish Science Temple of America is to have everything that belongs to us as a nation that has become part of another nation. Just the same as all other European groups are doing. So wait, let's read that again. Drew Ali said we're doing the same things that the Europeans are doing. This is what he told them. The idea inculcated in the purposes of the Moorish Science Temple of America is to have everything that belongs to us as a nation that has become a part of another nation, just the same as all other European groups are doing. Why do you think Drew Ali said, go get yourself a good European education and this movement can use you? Because he recognized that there are European Americans, right, who are out here reclaiming that which is theirs. Is more an umbrella term? Yes. Not necessarily for blacks, but for those who were called black, yes. More is, as a matter of fact, let me see. Yes, there we go. So if you look at the ethnicity and race form, which I'm about to show you, give me 1 second. All right. But when we're looking at the SF 180 fund race, ethnicity and race, we see that white is a classification that says a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. And so white is a North African descendant designation. And North Africa could be Morocco, Egypt, Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, Libya, etc. Where can you find this? You can type in SF181 form PDF in Google in the search engine, and it'll pull it up for you. This is an official U.S. Office of Personnel Management Guide to Personnel Data Standards. This is not some form that I made up. This is an active, legitimate United States form. All right. We'll get back to this. Okay. But we were reading Demanding Hours. All right. He says, we must have the history of our forefathers taught to our children. We have ceased to calculate our history from the landing of the first 20. So he's talking about the 1600s when African displaced people were brought here to these lands. He's saying that we no longer identify as that stock of people. He says, we must have the history of our forefathers taught to our children. We have ceased to calculate our history from the landing of the first 20 or the close of the Civil War. So again, we're not identifying ourselves as those freed slaves either after the Civil War. Yes, the SF-181, absolutely. All right. Listen to him, man. He says, while all records of the tombs in the old world are proclaiming our glory to the nations, we have come now demanding that we be given credit for the great work done in the past by our ancestors. We are not asking others to give these records to the world for us, but we demand that such records be broadcasted to the four winds for us and by us. A pride that goes with the knowledge of great deeds will serve to cause our posterity to take heart and look into the vast future with a hope eternal. Where we at here? Such can never be done except that they be taught who they are and where they are from. We're from America, you heard? Yes, we are demanding that these things be done, and we know that it will require some time before we have created that consciousness in others of our group to assert themselves likewise. But that day is coming when such will be the case. And my people, that day is now. Okay? Yes. I need to just do a whole live feed where I read each one of these 47 articles. I'm starting to feel like that might be necessary. Right? And again, I read these often. I study them often. I seek understanding and I receive it, right? So we have another one called History Defined, right? It says history may be defined in a general way as the record of the life of mankind. It is the rise and progress of those famous people whose doings constitute the history of civilization. In this, it's proper in highest science. In this is proper in highest science. History presupposes the nations of the world advanced beyond the natural or primitive state, and to these belong our great leader Muhammad, directed by our Father God Allah. Respecting mankind outside of nations, there is much interesting and valuable knowledge supplied by various sciences. By the aid of these sciences, much is now known regarding mankind's customs, manners, languages, arts, and religions, which bring us back to our Father Allah and the Muslim religion. Right? The Muslim religion is equity. It is equity. The Islamic religion is politically and economically dealing in equity. Okay. Just, fair, right? Justful, fairness, prudence, uprightness. This is what Islam as a political, social, moral, economical program, right, is about. That beats water. All right. So again, I'll let you all know, regardless of what you hear, regardless of what you hear about the Moorish movement, right? Anytime that someone is telling you that a Moorish American is not an American, they're not following the true movement. I don't give a fuck who they are. You shouldn't give a fuck who they are either. You know, whatever their names are, whoever they identify themselves as, right? If they're not dealing with Drew Ali's movement, then it is not the authentic Moorish movement. Drew Ali continually tells us, as a matter of fact, let me repeat Drew Ali, right? That way it won't even be taken as my words, right? This is called a divine warning by the prophet for the nations. This is noble Drew Ali telling all nations what the business is. All right? As a matter of fact, let me read every warning. We're going to read every warning by Drew Ali. That's how we'll start. All right? So, Article 1, to prove the prophet, says the prophet has spoken, right? All governors, because again, your governor is the president or the head representative of your state. Just like the temple in the times of Drew Ali, they were state structures for us to recognize. All governors and grand sheiks and head officials that guide any body of Moors of any temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America. He or she must be of good moral standard and have a heart of love. And their works must be of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So your works have to be equitable. They are to imitate the prophet in speech and teaching in any said temple. So again, anyone telling you that we're other than American citizens, this is not Drew Ali's teachings. Because Drew Ali specifically let the Moorish Americans know, which we will find out shortly, that we are free and equal. Free and equal to all other American citizens, and that our one issue that we need to address is getting back on that level. All right, anywho. They must not be under the influence of intoxicating liquors or any other harmful motive that will terminate to become detrimental to the organization. It must not be known that any leader is staying away from his home or neglecting his duty at home, or must allow the public to know of their wrongdoings. Meaning, guard your vices. Don't let, if you are not acting, if you're a drunkard or whatever the case may be, don't let, if you're going to be that way, do it in your home. Don't allow that to spill out of your bedroom into your home or out your front door into society. And definitely don't let it seep into your state departments. Right? They must forever live the life of love at home, and it must be known by all the members. They must not speak rash words nor any profane language in the mildest form to any other individual, because a leader without influence of good works cannot be a leader. And to be a real Moorish leader, you must study the Quran and the divine constitution that is handed down unto you by the prophet. Why? The Quran is the trust law. The divine constitution has 7 acts in the same capacity that the U.S. Constitution has 7 articles. He desires for you to learn these things so that you can adapt it, understand what you're looking at. Right? He says no finance business is to be opened with any group of members of any temple by the governor or grand sheikh or whosoever in charge. without the consultation of either prophet. So that means that no one who works for your state can really operate or do anything without the consent of the governor of the state. Right. Or, pardon, so yeah, without the governor. And in this case, I guess it would be without the actual president of the United States. Because Drew Ali was acting in the capacity thereof. All uplifting funds, books are to be issued only through either prophet, because that money is to finance the Moorish movement. Okay, I just had a moment. Okay, so Drew Ali did not operate as the president. He operated as the Secretary of State. Let me show you. All right. Oh, that's awesome. All right. I'm going to show you all. Where's my passport? There we go. All right. So Noble Drew Ali is basically pulling rank as we read this, right? And he's telling everybody that everything is on him. So if you ever get an opportunity, right, to read this portion of your passport, I'll read it to you. It says the Secretary of State. So Drew Ali is operating in this capacity. The Secretary of State of the United States of America hereby requests all whom it may concern to permit the citizen national of the United States, which I am. I am a United States national citizen. I'm a United States citizen and national. Fucking right I am. All right, anyway. The Secretary of State of the United States of America hereby requests all whom it may concern to permit the citizen national of the United States named herein to pass without delay or hindrance, and in case of need to give all lawful aid and protection. So Drew Ali is speaking in the capacity of a Secretary of State for the people. All right. All right. Where are we at? All right. Here we go. The head of any temple can maintain an emergency fund which cannot exceed the amount of 25 to 56 cents a week per member. All public collections and dues also to the supporting of each said temple and its domestic work. So he just told you about the Social Security. He just told you about the Social Security. You're paying into the Social Security so that you can receive therefrom the benefits. He said public collections. Well, Social Security is collected in the public, isn't it? State taxes, they're collected in the public, right? But when you have your passport and you make your claims with your professional Social Security number, there are benefits there too. All right. All right. He says, no finance books are to be served in any temple except by the prophet. So mind you, anytime you're using your passport information in place of the social, you have the backing of the Secretary of State. Remember, it says no finance books are to be served in any state temple except by the prophet, the Secretary of State. The head of every temple must by law obey the word of the prophet, and if any leader or head of any temple fails to obey these laws, embezzlement is his charge and is subject to enforcement of the law by the grand body, which is the grand jury, which is a grand jury. And the penalty may be a fine or a removal from office or placed under a very heavy restriction of the law. These are the supreme words of the Prophet Drew Ali. For those Nation of Islam brothers and those 5%er brothers talking about the supreme mathematics, we already see that Drew Ali already utilized that supreme word already. Anywho, number 2, Prophet Drew Ali speaks to the nations, plural, So he's talking to everyone in America right now. When I read this, he's not talking to all the nations of Moorish people, because the Moorish people are considered one nation. So he's talking to all nations. Listen, if you have race pride, this is why we're white race. We understand white race. If you have race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Temple of America. So if you have race pride and love humanity, join your state. Join your state and become a part of this divine movement. Then you will have power to redeem your race, your people, your persons. Because you will know who you are and who your forefathers were. My forefathers were Pennsylvanians and Americans. Absolutely. Because where there is unity, there is strength. Again, you got a lot of these brothers and sisters out here, and they wish to travel and do their thing solo. Together we stand, divided we fall. So, again, that's up to you all who want to go out there and, yeah, we want to establish the Empire of Morocco, or we want our own state. Hey, go right ahead. Go right ahead. Just don't interfere. Just don't interfere with us. You know what I mean? All right. He says, because together there is unity, there is strength. Because where there is unity, there is strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. He says, come, good people. He didn't just say Moorish Americans. He said everybody. Come, good people. Because I, the prophet, sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery, which you have now, need every one of you who think that your condition can be better. Now there are many American citizens out here who do believe that this situation can be established. Going against the grain, it's already established. Yes. All right. He says, this is a field open to strong men and women to uplift the nation and take your place in the affairs of men. Let me read that again. Did he say this is a field open to strong Moorish American only men and women? He did not. He did not. Let me tell you what this brother said. He said, come now, good people, because I, the prophet, sent to redeem this nation, meaning the American nation as a whole, from mental slavery, which you have now, need every one of you who think that your condition can be better. This is a field open to strong men and women to uplift the nation and take your place in the affairs of men. Listen to him. Listen, this is specifically for you Moorish Americans who, for whatever reason, think that the Europeans are your enemies. Okay? I'm going to read this statement specifically to you all so that when you come to this movement and you uphold this movement, you recognize the truth in this movement. If the Europeans and other nations are helping, why not you? If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you? If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you, more? The Negro, he says, it is your problem. The Negro problem is the debtor problem, meaning that you have a non-redeemable estate because you're classified as black rather than white. White means beneficiary descendable estate. You are a North African. White identifies North Africans. Now, he said, if the Europeans and other nations are helping me get y'all back on board to recognize that you are white and one of the people collectively, then why aren't you helping? Because this is your problem. This is your problem. And it can be corrected through the SS5, by the way. Okay? Okay. The Negro problem is being solved only as it can. And that is by the Moorish National Divine Movement. So he didn't say that it was the Moorish Science Temple of America that was saving this information. He said the Moorish Divine and National Movement, which he was able to incorporate into the government through the Moorish Science Temple of America. Every other nationality is helping me, and our own people won't help each other. Absolutely. What are we reading now? You can get a copy. Okay. This is what I'm reading from. If you see, I've compiled it. I put it together, right? Prepared by Brandon Davis Ellie, right? You can find this on the website, link in bio. It comes with this. It comes with 2 books. It comes with this here, which is all of Noble Drew Ali's public information regarding his movement for the instructions of Moorish Americans and all other American citizens. And then it also comes with I have not bound this yet. It needs to be bound. But it also comes with this information, treaties, constitutions, as well as the SF 181 form, the SS5 form, the DS11 form, the Form 56, the Treasury Direct Account forms, right? So we're giving you all of this information for you to review as well, right? Some of you may and some of you may not be aware of, but this is the first actual Muslim publication in the Americas, right? And we see that the very first Muslim publication spells Muslim, M-O-S-L-E-M, for all of you debaters. We ain't really trying to hear all that, right? This is what it was. And I'm just going to read this excerpt, right? It says the American Muslim should not be a stranger. Oh, this was published January 1st, 1894. You can order your website there is a link of the website in my bio. Go to that website. You'll be able to see the products and services, okay? Or, right? Because we're not gatekeeping here, right? You can go to the website and go to the home page, right? And the home page has these are 4 compilations, right? You can actually go to the website, right? And you can receive all 4 of these free download. If you purchase the information, it's for us to bind it and send it to you. We don't gatekeep information here. The information's out there. I found it for free. I give it away for free. But if you wish to have it bound and all of that, that's the service that you're paying for, right, when you order. But I'm letting you know that all of this information is on the very first page, and you can literally download all of this. What's in here is the Moorish literature, which is the newspaper articles, the 101 Quran questions, the actual Circle 7 Quran, and there's like 260 some odd oral statements that are attributed to Drew Ali. So these are all of his public works. That's what this is. So again, you don't have to purchase. If you purchase, what you are purchasing is for us to bind it for you. You can definitely, again, download the PDFs that are available online, and then you can read it from your phones, or you yourself can print them out on your own, bind them, etc. Okay? This right here, this is our own. I'm going to, it takes a lot to try to put all of those PDF downloads up there. I'm working on making sure that y'all can get all of this too, right? So allow me to read this to you all. Most welcome. Most welcome. It's called The American Muslim, right? Published at Terrytown, New York, USA, right? All right. It says the American Muslim should not be a stranger to American soil. In our humble opinion, he has been here for a long time. In fact, since the nation was born. It is not claiming a whit too much to say that he presided at its birth. George Washington was Muslim, alike with all the other kindred spirits of the American Revolution. When peace and rest came to him at Mount Vernon, he sat beneath the golden crescent, the significant emblem which adorns, which adorned his summer sanctuary. He stood in the highest favor with the Sultan, who showered him with most gracious economics, as well as with most substantial and beautiful tokens of affection. The grace of manner of the Muslim, his simplicity and refinement, his devotion to learning, his skill in the occult sciences, the brilliancy and beauty of his works, his chivalrous gallantry and sublime reverence for deity have been chronicled by Irving, Carlyle, Davenport, Leitner, and other scholars. Their pens point to him, meaning the Muslim, with praise and gratitude. His urbane example comes down to us from the eras of the past, like the promise of the sunrise. Beautiful. Okay, I'm not going to read the rest of that. I just desired to pinpoint that part, right? And we see that he made reference to who? George Washington, right? And he said that the Sultan showered him, right? He said that it's buffering. So we just heard that there were Muslims in America who said that George Washington was Muslim and that he had good connections with the Sultan. And here, for those of you who are aware, this is a letter from George Washington to that Sultan. Okay? And then we have, is this on the, right, well, regardless, I'll find that main page. But then we actually have the live is flowing. Okay, it's flowing. Cool. The letter is the debt he owed to us. What do you mean that he owed to us? He was acting as us. What do you mean, owed to us? You're not a Moroccan subject. You're not under the Sultan. That's the whole point of this live, is to explain to you that we're not under the Moroccan Sultan. It wasn't about for us. We are the American Moors. Y'all be bugging, man. All right. But anywho, again, this does not when hold on a second. For anyone talking about the Treaty of Morocco, the Treaty of Tripoli, the Treaty of Madrid, the Treaty of the Lenape, that's the exception, the Treaty of Lenape, because again, it was here on these lands. But anytime you see a treaty between the United States and any other Muslim country, the American Moorish Americans are on the fucking side of the United States. We're American citizens, meaning we're not Moroccan subjects. We're not Madridian subjects. We're not Tripolian subjects. Our citizenship by birthright is right here in the Americas. Again, all of that talking about this is us, that's that foreign shit that Drew Ali told us to mind. Be mindful of. Just trying to help you get your concepts right. Just again, we got a lot of people out there who they got this misidea, this misunderstanding. They keep saying us versus them. They owe us. What do you mean? We're all America is different than every other continent because in America, all of the countries have aligned as states united to make the whole continent one country. Whether you are North African, European, or Asian, if you have ancestry here in the Americas, you're an American. All right. Back to it. And I don't mean to scorn you, brother, but we ain't going to sit here and I'm going to correct all issues. Absolutely. Anybody, listen, let me see. Brother Garnett, the founders were, all right, brother, you know what? I'm going to read this to you, right? And then if you feel like you wish to continue to assert that bullshit or that misunderstanding, I'll cut you from my whole feet, brother. You can teach that on your platform. That's not what Noble Drew Ali was teaching. So let me tell you what Drew Ali said. All right? Drew Ali says about his movement, it is most earnestly hoped that the Moorish Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. Such is not important insofar as American citizens of our group colonizing Africa are concerned. You still wish to keep telling me that that's us? It's us versus them? This ain't me. This is not me. This is Drew Ali. So again, you can talk that, but that ain't it. And that's foreign doctrine. That's the bullshit that you're moving with. Yes, you did. You said that you implied it when you said, and I'm going to give it to you, brother. I'm going to tell you what you said. The founders were ministers plenipotentiary. We gave them permission to be here. Who the fuck do you mean we? They are we. Here, let me help you. Let me help you. I can tell that you haven't studied Drew Ali's literature, brother. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. You can't tell me I'm wrong. You have not studied Drew Ali's literature in whole. You may have had some in part, but brother, you because you're talking like those foreign Muslims to me. I'm gonna let you know according to Drew Ali. And then once I say this, I'm done with it, bro. You can talk that trash all you want. And again, I'm not saying you're trash. I'm letting you know because I used to talk the same way you talk. I used to think that way. I did. So I came out of that darkness so I can succor you. But if you don't wish to have it, that's fine. But I'm letting you know that what you're talking about, that us versus them shit, dead. That's not us. It's not a we versus them thing. No trash is being spoken. Enlighten me if you know better. Islam. Absolutely. Appreciate you. That needs to be read too, to be honest. Here we go. So this is Article 30, right? Dedicated to the sons of man, okay? A maxim. The land of our fathers. The land where the gods love to dwell. The birthplace of the ancient Egypt land, where civilization first saw the light of day. Now, since man has left his first religion, he has been suffering from a complex disease, which in some ways takes hold of his passions and desires. The misdirection of his brain causes him to become a living monster. He is a slave to his lower self. No scientists nor doctors have ever been able to find anything to effect the cure until the coming of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who comes from the East, bringing the light of new day. The Moorish divine movement built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, the salvation for the nation. In the deliberation of nations, no consideration is given to a people who are not of a nation. In 1774, the Europeans of this country took the birthrights away from a people whom they forced under bondage. They were not slaves. They were bound free men. The subsequent generation who followed them in this bondage were slaves because their minds had been subjugated to a European psychology. They were branded with the name Negro and were separated from the illustrious history of their forefathers, who were the founders of the first civilization. So I read all of that just to recap. In 1774, what happened in 1774, right? He says, in 1774, the Europeans of this country took the birthrights away from the Moors. So we were already here as citizens in the land up until 1774 when our lights were put out. Absolutely. But my point in making this statement is to show you that we cannot, it says 1774. So in 1787, that treaty was created. All right? In that treaty, it's the United States and the Moroccans. What I'm saying is that we're on the side of the United States. They so-called put our lights out in 1774 in the Americas. But Drew Ali let us know that since the Constitution of 1774 hasn't been changed, right, then there's no need for us to even deal with that 14th Amendment and 15th Amendment status of Black African. Islam. Appreciate you, brother. That's all right. Islam. Right. And I'm glad to be able to speak with you openly, and we have a dialogue rather than a debate. You know what I mean? That's what I really come looking for. Right? If I'm wrong, let me know. I'm not gonna argue with anyone about correcting me. I love to be corrected. It's just that right now I haven't stood to be corrected. Right? But all honest to you as well, beloved. All right. Let me see here. Yes, I said that. All right. Let me get back to what I was doing. I am reading all of the warnings that Drew Ali makes to the people. Right? Alhamdulillah. You cannot see or hear anything. I don't know why, Kevin Smith, but everyone else can. All right, let's see. Yes, we read that. Okay, yeah, that's where we were at. Prophet Drew Ali speaks to the nations. All right. If you have race pride and love your race, where did I put that? Remember, Moorish Americans are white, right? And this is what? An ethnicity and race ID, right? And we see that ethnicity here is labeled as Latino, right? Spanish or Latino, right? So then we know that all of these other classifications are racial, right? And again, Moorish Americans are what? We're North African, right? Do I have to go to the Moorish temple to get my nationality? No. No, you don't. You do not have to go to the... If the Moorish Science Temple of America is not telling you to go get this, don't even fuck with them. Drew Ali let us know ahead of time that all of the gold, the silver, the commerce, all of the authority inherent in the temples were going back to the state governments. This happened in 1933. So right now, all of your Moorish Science Temples of America, they're not even operating correctly because they're trying to operate as if they are the legal title holders. We are no longer the legal title holders. The state is the legal title holder, and this shows evidence that you are the equitable title holder. So no, you don't necessarily need to, because the temple in spirit is within yourself. All right? I hope that answers your question. I need my nationality but can't see or hear you. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Let me see if I can bring you up. Shit, I'll try to bring you up, Kevin. If you can't come up, and then maybe possibly, we could hear you that way. But all right. Getting back to Ali, right? Right. He says, if you have race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Temple of America and become part of this divine movement Then you will have power to redeem your race. Huh? Because you will know who you are and who your forefathers were. Because where there is unity, there is strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. All right? Come, good people, because I, the prophet, sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery, which you have now, need every one of you who think that your condition can be better. This is a field open to strong men and women to uplift the nation and take your place in the affairs of men. If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you? It is your problem. The Negro problem is being solved only as it can, and that is by the Moorish National Divine Movement. If you have a nation, like me, Pennsylvania, you must have a free national name, see, Pennsylvania, in order to be recognized by this nation as an American citizen. Y'all hear that? Let me say that again. If you have a nation, Pennsylvania, you must have a free national name. I'm a Pennsylvanian. In order to be recognized by this nation, the whole U.S., as an American citizen. Then he says, this is what it is meant when it is said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things would be added unto you. This is how you seek the kingdom. The kingdom is your state. The kingdom is your state. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. Come home. Allah is the state. All right. And again, Drew Ali was talking to all Americans. He wasn't just talking to the Moors. Drew Ali lets us know that he came to the Moors first because they needed it to work the most, but that he's a universal prophet and that this information is for everybody. Drew Ali is an American prophet, not just the Moorish prophet. He is an American prophet for all nations, for all creditor nations. All right? All right. Here goes another one. Prophet makes plea to nations. So now he's speaking to the Moors, right? Our divine and national movement stands for the specific grand principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. These are all maxims in equity. And I, the prophet, am applying to all loyal, faithful members, to all loyal, faithful Moors, members, and the American citizens, meaning others, to help me in my great uplifting acts of uplifting fallen humanity among the Asiatic race and nation. For I have suffered much and severely in the past through misunderstanding of what the movement was dedicated to. Again, you've got Moors out here to this day trying to move you away from your state. Your trust is in your state. Your state has a trust. That's your trust. Your estate is the birth certificate. You already have everything you need. But again, you've got Moors and other people out here telling you to go sideways. You know what I'm saying? You don't need, let me see, American citizen versus U.S. citizen. So it's U.S. stateless citizen versus U.S. national citizen. All right? I have two selves. I have two citizens. One is a beneficiary and one is a fiduciary. One is stateless within local and one is national, covered by the whole state. They're both U.S. citizens. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Do you change your name or not? Listen, brother, you know what? I have respect for your questions, right? If you wish for me to answer your questions, we can set up a consultation where I'll jump off the phone. I'll jump off of this live feed right now, and we can talk until your heart's content, and I'll answer your inquiries. I need you to go to the YouTube. Excuse me. If you wish for me to answer these specific questions for yourself, so as to not distract this class, there's $100 consultation fee. Okay. Otherwise, I'm not going to answer your questions right and exact at this time, because I have something that I'm teaching the whole class, and you're bringing, this is valid information, But again, I'm going to answer that question for you though. Do you change your name or not? Do you change your name? No, never, not at all. Do you amend your title to your name? You can. If you do, like I did. I'll even show you. So, we see the name, right? But then we also see who they sent it to, right? You see the name, right? Now you see the name though, right? David Sell. And again, David Sell. So what I realized, right? So I'm letting you all know, so hopefully y'all could benefit from my mistakes, okay? And my mistakes are beautiful because when you look at them, it helps you figure things out. So if the social security, if the name on the social security card does not match the name that's on the card or the book, you're going to have issues when you make claims. I made an unemployment claim because I'm working with my passport. And I gave them the passport number. And I was informed that because the names did not match, that it had to go to the default account, which is the social. And so I had to give them the social. And that was a learning lesson for myself. Had the names matched, then there would have been an override or a bypass, which would allow me to claim the credits rather than the debits. Okay? So, again, the SS5 form. Let me show you. Right. So when we look at the SS5 form, right, it says at the top, name to be shown on card. This is where you would add your title with your name, right? You would give the social. Yes, it is a U.S. citizen. Yes, it is white. No, it is not Latino or Hispanic. All right? You give that information and you correct your status here and your title. So understand that they may say something to the effect of, well, you might need a court order for a legal name change. This is why I said you're not changing your name. Drew Ali told us not to change our names and not to get rid of, not to get rid of their surnames. Why? Because again, I'm now saying for a fact why you don't change it. Right? We are not changing anything. We are amending, as is the way of our American culture, to amend. So you are amending your title to your name. If you desire to use a different name, if you don't desire to use the name that you have, fill this out. Put that new name. But have something in use that shows that you've been using that name so that they can determine that this is not a fraudulent act, right? And then they can continue to allow you. You want to keep your social security number. You don't want to change that. This is another thing I need y'all to know. You don't want to change the social security. It's already matured, especially, I'm 43. I know that shit matured. If I go get a new social security number, it's starting all over again. That's not what I'm looking for. You've already paid your social security benefits in as debits, and this is how you retrieve them or redeem them as credits. So hopefully I've answered that question for you. All right, back to the reading. Drew Ali says, our divine and national movement stands for the specific grand principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I, the prophet, am applying to all loyal, faithful Moors, members, and the American citizens to help me in my great uplifting acts of uplifting fallen humanity among the Asiatic race and nation. For I have suffered much and severely in the past through misunderstanding of what the movement was dedicated to. It is the great God Allah alone that guides the destiny of this divine and national movement. Now remember, Allah is the will of the people. So everybody come together, decide how this movement's going to move. Listen, I know all true American citizens are identified by national descent names to answer and apply to the free national constitution of this free national republic of the United States of America. See, I'm Pennsylvanian American. You fucking right, I got a national descendant name. Absolutely. That makes so much sense. The name, right, absolutely. Absolutely. Remember, you're never the citizen, you're acting. We're acting. We're actors. The public is an act, right? Jurali has act 1, 2, 3. We're acting accordingly. So when you step out of your private capacity into a public capacity, your social security is an unsecured capacity. Your passport is a secured social security capacity. And so with this, you can operate acting in the private and or the public with limited liability. Because all the liability is now on your state. You are just a statesman of the government. You are a bond servant of the government. You are Abdullah. Abidullah. We are servants of the state. Not to any other man. Okay. Drew Ali says that's why I am calling on all true national citizens to help me morally and financially. So you got a lot of Moors out here talk about we don't beg, we don't plead, we don't apply. Well, whatever, man. That's how. Again, do what you wish. But Drew Ali says what? That's why I am calling on all true national citizens to help me morally and financially. So he's pleading. He's begging. It's like, damn, can y'all help me, man? My people are really off the path. And they might not hear just me. But if you as an American citizen can pull their coattails and let them know, hey, you know what your mans are saying is right. Then maybe we can start to get our people back on this level plane. All right? All right. Let's see. That's why I am calling on all true national citizens, to help me morally and financially in my great work I am doing to help this national government. So what government is Drew Ali helping? Is he helping the Moroccan government? Is he helping the Moorish Science Temple of America government? He's helping the government of the United States of America. How do we know? Because his prior statement says, I know all, he says, it is the great God alone that guides the destiny of this divine and national movement. I know all true American citizens are identified by national descent names to answer and apply to the free national constitution of this free national republic of the United States of America. So now we know what government Drew Ali's working for. Right? That's why I'm calling on all true national citizens to help morally and financially in my great work I am doing to help this national government. For without a free national name, like Pennsylvania, without a descent flag of your forefathers, y'all see the horse? You know what I mean? There is not a national divine title of the government in which we live. That's if you don't have your national descent name and flag. But, oh, shit. That's what I get for trying to be in the phone all the way down. Yes. Since it's back here, get it on out there. Where is it at? Oh, did it have four? Well, give me 1 second, y'all. Oh, there we go. That's what I was like. You know, I know it's Uh-oh. All right, there we go. All right. Stand up here. Oh. And let me make sure. Boom. 1 second. Come on, phone. All right, cool. Yeah. All right, cool. So what I was attempting to do, oh, it's in my hand. This is a spiritual banner. This is not the flag of Morocco. Can you tell? This is the flag of the Moorish. This is a universal flag. All right? Drew Ali is telling us that we must have a national descent flag here in America to link us as Americans. So this is the spiritual Muslim flag. And this is my national descent flag. And my commercial banner. This means that your flag is in the United Nations. Because there's 50 stars on there representing each one of these. So I know one of these stars on this commercial banner represents Pennsylvania. Again, Drew Ali is telling us we're not to concern ourselves with Moroccan business outside of us being from that bloodline. We are Americans. We are Moors in America. Okay? Okay, we got good people up in here. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to read this to you, all right? So I'm going to show that Noble Drew Ali was telling the American citizens to get ready. Peace to PA. I'm going to show you that Drew Ali was telling all of the Moors and other American citizens, right, to prepare for the Emergency Banking Act. Okay? So that we know for a fact, again, that the shit that I'm saying isn't just some hogwash. Right? This is called Think This Over, You Moors. All sheiks, grand sheiks, must prepare for the prophet before he comes to visit them. Must see to it that all is clean and in perfection as far as comfort as possible, or otherwise don't arrange to have his presence. All members should pay from 25 to 50 cents weekly towards the emergency fund, Social Security. This fund will increase so that it will soon amount to the grand sum of $1,000. That is, if you are loyal Moors. The emergency fund goes into the bank. So he's telling us about banking, right? The treasurer, The treasurer will tend to the responsibility of seeing that the money is in the bank, yes, and under the name of the Moorish Science Temple of American Finance. So now in these days, the treasury has the finances, and mine is under the name of Pennsylvania. Right? Now listen to this. When needed. Not if, not maybe, right? He said when needed. So understand that this is a foretelling, right? When needed, act according to the law pertaining to the procedure of performing an emergency act. He's telling us about banking. It says when the time comes, act according to the law pertaining to the procedure of performing an emergency act. Drew Ali just told you what it is. So how do we operate according to those procedures? Just like in 1933 when our collateral debt was pledged, right? The gold, the silver, and the commerce, right? The real gold and all of that was pledged, right? Now you take your gold and silver and commerce. And you pledge it to your state. And you redeem it through proper recognition. And then you use this rather than the Social Security number. And that is how you operate according to the law. How did you say? According to the law pertaining to the procedure of performing an emergency act. Drew Ali also told the Moors, Islam. He said, leave all old business as it is and do all new business in your free national name. Your free national name is your state name. So when he told me leave all old business as it is, I know this is a sole proprietorship. I know this is an old business. I've now got the limited liability business. I'm no longer an individual. I'm now a partner. Still corporate, but now I have what? Now I have emergency relief provision. Anywhere I use this, I now use this. Right? If you don't have the book, that's perfectly fine. This is your debit card. This is your credit card. Appreciate it. It's what I'm here to do, family. So this is, Drew Ali said the other half is yet to be told. You're hearing it right here, right now, family. You know, you're getting that right here, right now. Appreciate you as well. All right. So again, Drew Ali already told the Moorish Americans, and now mind you, the statement that I just read was prior to 1929. So Drew Ali was foretelling of an emergency banking act dealing with banking. Because that's what a prophet does. A prophet forecasts, foretells, forewarns. Almost like a harbinger in retrospect. You dig? So Drew Ali was the harbinger. He was my harbinger. Now I'm following his example so that I could be a harbinger for others. Because everybody is supposed to be on this. You don't technically have to be a Muslim, but you have to be a creditor. Muslim means creditor. That's what it means. It means one who is perfected in their claim. That's what Muslim means. M-O-S-L-E-M, M-U-S-L-I-M, M-A-S-H-L-E-M, Muslim, whatever the case may be. The word Muslim means creditor. So if you don't accept the religion of Islam, you can at least equate your economics with its principles. Because Islam means equity. And so again, Muslim is one who does equity. And so a Muslim is an equitable title holder. Right? Me personally, I don't want any liability. All liability, if you know business, a sole proprietorship accepts all liability. The name, the person, and its official are indistinguishable. So that means that all liability is on the shoulders of the sole prop. Your LLC, that's what this is. This is everything above the individual sole proprietorship, right? This is your secured estate, y'all. This is your secured account. This says you're a party. This says it's you plus the Secretary of State and all of the Secretary of State's assignees. The sole prop says it's just you. With this, all the liability is shifted to your state. We know in the Constitution, we know that we learned that in the Constitution. All debts and contracts entered into against the United States shall be valid. Under this Constitution, as it was under any prior. Yeah. Right? As all Muslims are, right, and Allah is the state. Allah is the state. Not some boogeyman in the sky. Allah is the equity in your heart and the equity in your state. Allah and man must meet in the heart. Here's your meeting place. This is your chamber of commerce, your chamber of chancery, your adept chamber of love, because love is consideration. Okay? And we got a weirdo in here. That's because y'all sell out. So we're going to go ahead and cut this person. Because we just don't really need people like that who are out here running around talking stupid. You know, could have just came up here and said what you desired to say. But, all right. So that individual's gone. All right. This is weirdo stuff. All right. Anyway, back to the movie. So I have fellow Jewish brothers and sisters out here who know that I ain't on the bullshit. That individual in the comments, they out here running around Just know, not all, but most Jews, most Hebrew Israelites, they come from a place of scarcity. They already have hate in their heart. They're acting like their pale skin counterparts who act like only they themselves are the chosen. And so, but again, not all of them. I know a lot of good brothers and sisters out there who are on point, and they're Yahud. The Yahud, right? These are my people. We are Ahlul Kitabi. We are the people of the scripture. We are the people of the universal record of accounts, the book. Yeah. So, what was this person's? Yazi Kayahu, Yahuwah servant. I bet that person doesn't even use that name legitimately in society. But again, we ain't gonna rag on anybody because again, I'm glad that came out right. We have good and bad. We have positive and negative people in all nations. Okay, and Drew Ali's purpose of his mission of his movement was to bring everybody together that desire to be one and whole. Right? Drew Ali, if you study his movement, you see that you've got Shriners, Freemasons, Gnostics, Hindu, Native American, Islamic, Yahudic, again, Christian. All of these. He said, everybody, come on in. Right? Drew Ali says that we honor all the true and divine prophets. So he's letting you know that all of these prophets, which means professional announcer, right? They all brought the same message. And so whether you are a Yahud or a Sanatani, a Dharmist, or a Gnostic, whether you are a Kabbalist, whatever your background is, we recognize that the scripture has one culture, one true creed, and we can find that creed in all of the religious works. So this movement is about everybody bring your ass, come on, let's all get on board. And then people like that brother who made whatever statement, these are the people who they don't wish to unite. You got Moorish Americans that don't wish to unite. We know this because there is not. So the Messiah fulfilling the law has so much weight. Absolutely. We are all Al-Mashiach. Every last one of us, Al-Mashiach. Right? Every last one of us. I am not. Al-Mashiach just means the beloved. This is the beneficiary who is now standing upright to take place as fiduciary, right? As the steward of the Creator's estates. That's all Mashiach means. And we all have that same. Every last one of us. So we're going to get rid of the boogie woogie shit. We're going to get rid of there are people waiting for Jesus, not realizing that Jesus is in themselves. It's crazy. Crazy work to me. That shit's crazy. There are people waiting for Muhammad when Muhammad is in yourself. This shit is crazy work to me. But again, I figured it out. We get away from the boogie woogie stuff. All right. We're going to continue. He says, when needed, act according to the law pertaining to the procedure of performing an emergency act. No head of any temple is to borrow. Now, I just want y'all to understand, especially for those who are in the Moorish movement, who are not sure how the temples are supposed to operate. Drew Ali is telling you how they're supposed to operate. And he's telling you that business is supposed to be being done through the temple. And most of us know that when you go to any Moorish Science Temple of America, they're not offering you any type of employment. Fuck I'm signing up for if I ain't getting no employment. Drew Ali showed us a union. The MSTA stood for a union. Your state is a union. All right. He says, no head of any temple is to borrow from any other member more than $5 to $10 unless by notification of the prophet, the necessity for the loan. So I should be able to go to the Moorish Science Temple of America after having been there for a while and paying dues. I should be able to get a loan. Can you get a loan from your organization, the Moorish Science Temple of America? I don't think so. Does your Moorish Science Temple of America issue credit? Not the fuck at all. But your state does. Anywho, when any said temple desires to purchase property, so your temple, did your temple purchase any property? Does your Moorish Science Temple of America have property in its name? I know the state does. I know the house that I live in right now is under the state. Oh no. We had a flicker. All right. When any said temple desires to purchase property, they must first notify the grand body or the prophet, and it must be purchased under the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America or Noble Drew Ali. So in these days, it has to be under your state or under your state's representative. Absolutely. The secretary. Absolutely. Listen, right? An individual, where we at? An individual name should never be applied. This is your individual. This is your individual. This is your sole, meaning one, proprietorship, sole priority. This is your individual, he says. An individual name should never be applied. I, Noble Drew Ali, am responsible for all finance, so therefore let I, the prophet, know what is on me. So he's telling you that with him, it's not an individual. It's an organized body. Some comments in this live were filtered okay. So I guess there might be people in the comments who don't like what's being said. Fuck y'all, we don't care. We're going to keep it moving. Respectfully, of course. Sensational. I've always wanted to do that. Anywho, let's get back to it. Because I don't wish to be struck down as any type of hate speech. Okay. Some of you have slipped, and slipped drastically. So you had better lace up your shoes before I get there. Every business transaction or anything pertaining to finance is to be transacted in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America or Noble Drew Ali. So again, the Moorish Science Temple of America was supposed to be doing big business. Big business, the same way that the states are right now. I don't see it. I see a bunch of church folk. I see a bunch of church folk in fezzes and turbans out there acting like they saved because they got their little piece of paper card and they think they're better than everybody. But they're out working they're out working within their states, and then they come to their temple and they give their temple all these dues, and their temple doesn't afford them jack spit. Can your temple card get you a passport? Possibly. Possibly. I don't see why I couldn't. You see what I'm saying? You could definitely, but does your passport, does your nationality card pre-1933 have the same effect as a nationality card post-1933? Absolutely not. Anywho, Again, this is for the again for those of you like, do we got to go to the MSTA? No, because it's already in. And most of the brothers and sisters in those organizations, they're just as mindless. They're just as stateless as the Negroes. They've got the concept in their mind, but they haven't crossed over that bridge into today's economy. That's the problem with the Moorish Science Temple of America as it operates today, is that it is operating according to pre-1933 principles, when Drew Ali just told you in one of these other statements, when necessary, when needed, act according to the law pertaining to the procedure of performing an emergency act. So he told you to update, and these temples are not updated. They're just not updated. All right, that's the issue that we have right now. So no, you don't have to go to the temple. Drew also said if you just get to thinking, you can save yourself. Drew also said that there would be Moors coming into this movement, eyes wide open, seeing and knowing, who've never even been in a temple. I've never been in a temple. Never. There's not one man alive outside of Drew Ali's literature and other prophets of the past who could say they raised me up. Who raised you up? Drew Ali raised me up. Who's your grand sheik? Drew Ali. Emilio. That's it. Nobody after that. I don't rock with nobody after that. Public service announcement. I don't rock with Broswell Bay. I don't rock with Dan Dragel. I don't rock with Jones Bay. I don't rock with Cosmo L. I don't rock with Pleasant Bay. I don't rock with Taj Tariq Bay. I don't rock with RV Bay. I don't rock with the Washita Moors. I don't rock with Empress Veridiasi Ghost in Hell Bay. No, and I don't rock with the I definitely don't fuck with the Canaan Land Moors. Definitely. I don't rock with them. Just letting you all know. I don't rock with the Empire of Morocco Moors. I don't rock with any of these people. Because they're not on it. They're not on this. They are not. And I've studied in all of these halls of learning to tell you why I don't rock with them. This is not me observing from afar. This is me having been in the thick of it. I don't rock with any C.M. Bay Moors, any C. Freeman L. Moors. As much as I love that information, I don't rock with none of that, because that's not what this is about. All of that other information, yes, it is utilizable. But we're supposed to be getting people back to the recognition of them being American citizens. And everyone that I've mentioned thus far has not called you an American citizen. Well, Broswell Bay and them, they do it. But again, what are they offering, from their organization? Nothing. Again, everything, all power and authority that was vested in the Moorish Science Temple of America is now vested in the states. This is what y'all need to understand. It's vested in your state now. So again, if your temple isn't teaching you, if your temple isn't the pathway to get to your national citizenship, in these days, I would tell you, don't fuck with them. Drew Ali said if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet means professional. The prophet means the national representative. So if they're not acting right, if they're not bringing you back into the constitutional fold of government by letting you know that your state, right, is the government, then fuck them. Because the Moorish Science Temple of America is not a government agency. It is a non-governmental organization that has given us the structure to look for in government, in state government. The prophet knew what he was doing. An absolute. Absolute. And he says that. He says that, right? Let me finish this up, right? Listen. Some of you have slipped and slipped drastically. So you had better lace up your shoes before I get there. Everything, every business transaction or anything pertaining to finance is to be transacted in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America, meaning your state, or Noble Drew Ali, meaning your professional, because you're profit now, state identification. We Moors must maintain a grand treasurer, just as in the days of our forefathers. Then you are a nation. Until then, you are nothing. Does the Moorish Science Temple of America in these days have a treasurer? Have a treasury? No, because everything was pledged in 1933 to the states. This isn't what I'm saying. This is what happened. I'm just showing you all that there's people in there that are still trying to get you to follow them and shit. And Jirali told you, be careful, Moors, because some of your own wearing fezzes and turbans, if you're not careful, will sell you back into this economic sleep. All right. Listen, right? The emergency fund is issued by no book, but by an emergency card punched according to contribution, then marked on book. That is the law, and the law must live. What did he just explain? He just explained when you go and you get motherfucking benefits, when you file for benefits. This is the card that gets punched. And he's also telling you stop using this one and use this one. Listen. He says the government is behind me. So again, he's dealing with the USC. Drew Ali is not telling you that the MSTA is a government. Drew Ali is speaking for the whole U.S. government. The whole. Oh, well, it's U.S. versus USA. Shut the fuck up. Pardon yourself. It is the U.S. government. I'm going to read something after this to let y'all know. Drew Ali says North America, the United States of America, and the United States interchangeably. All right. In a moment. Listen to this, right? He says, the government is behind me, and I must get behind you. He said, for I must uphold and enforce the law. My mission is to save you Moors. He's telling you, this is your salvation. This Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation in private and in public through his professional assistant, Davis L. See how I did that? Passports. What's in my hand? Somebody beeping out there? Okay. All right. Just checking. All righty. Drelly says the heads of all temples, grand sheiks and sheikhesses, must conform to the divine principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So he just told you that you must conform to the principles of equitable trust law. I got 5. I'm wrong for a second. Well, it ain't like I gotta hide that. I'm tripping. I have 5. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Must be my son taking it. All right. Listen, right? They must live the life among the members and be loved even as the prophet is loved. Listen, they must not practice the principle of segregation among any group in his or her temple. Did you hear that? Let me say that again. They must not practice the principle of segregation among any group in his or her temple. So Moorish Americans shouldn't be out here running around acting like we got segregation popping in the back. Oh, the European pale skin Albion. We shouldn't be out here talking like that. The troglodyte nigger monkey. We shouldn't be out here talking like that. That's the shit that was done to us. So what you want to do? You want to just repeat the cycle? No. Drew Ali said that there is no segregation. So that means that all are welcome. Not my words, his words. Right? He says, let it be he or she that is head of any temple of the Moorish Temple of America, that if there should come any grievance that cannot be settled by the head, notify the prophet at once. So if the governor can't get it together, go take it to the Secretary of State. He says, no member is to attend adept chamber. An adept is one who has the professional standing. They are they are learning to be a representative of the people. An adept is a trustee. That's what he's telling you. So listen. No member is to attend the adept chamber that has not lived a moral and clean life and has not paid his or her dues or assessments, providing that he or she is working or able, he cannot consider himself more. So listen, right? Dues or assessments, child support. If you have child support lingering, you will not be able to enter the chamber of the heart until you situate that. Just letting you know, right? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Sister Leanne. He says, but traitors must be excluded from the books after having fair trial by the head of their temple, and that must be sent into the grand body. And all members that are able to subscribe towards the uplifting fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. So you've got a lot of these Moors and other secure party creditors out here talking about, oh man, you shouldn't be paying into Social Security. Oh man, you shouldn't be paying into the state. Fuck you mean? What do you mean? The only organization I shouldn't be paying into is the federal government. Because the federal government deals with the individuals. I'm no longer a minor. A district citizen is a minor. A district citizen who has redeemed their person is a state citizen. You dig? Appreciate you all for coming. He says, but traitors must be excluded from the books after having fair trial by the head of their temple, and that must be sent into the grand body. All members that are able to subscribe towards the uplifting fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. And those that are able and fail to act are not Moors. And those that are able and fail to act are not Moors. So everyone I mentioned out my mouth and all of these other splinter groups, they're not Moors. They're not true Moors. He says, this is what he calls them. He says they are not Moors, but traitors to their cause and to the trust and to the nation, and are not allowed to share all of the Moorish honors. And the penalty is, it is embezzlement of our faith, and it is embezzlement of the faith of our creed. All heads of all temples must observe these laws. Now remember, Gerald was just telling these niggas, y'all fucking up. Y'all got to get right. Y'all aren't doing what is supposed to be being done. So he already let us know that there was people in the movement that were trying to, again, take you away from your citizenship, your national citizenship by name, Pennsylvania, and principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, equity. Equity. By night and by day, there's your 5 on the left and 2 on the right. In public and in private, there's your left and your right. There's your 7. There's your complete circle of 7, your cycle. All right, let's see. Prophet warns all. Now he's warning all creditors. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work in their homes or on the streets. We are for peace, equity, and not destruction, feudal law. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. So again, you got Moorish Americans out here flashing their temple cards or flashing their allodial national ID cards as if this is what it really is. And of course, they over here being hindered like a motherfucker. They don't even have the right ID. There you go. I don't rock with the rise of the Moors. I had to remember that as well. I don't rock with the rise of the Moors. And out of everybody that I mentioned, those were the ones that if they had their IDs, I'd have been on board. I'd have been all the way on board. But again, you just got people out here who are taking you away from your government. Right? And I can't get down with that. Because Durali wasn't about that. He says, failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Remember, justice is fairness. Justice is equity that says what ought to be done is done. And any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple, the state, or the prophet, the national representative, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement by going against the Constitution, will receive their reward from Allah, the state, for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card, their button, they must cease wearing their turban or fez and return back to the state where the fuck you were found. Don't go out here running around with your fez and your turban on, acting like you one of the people when you're not. And that is what's been going on out here. I'm not turning in my fez. No, I'm not turning in my pen. I'm not turning in my card. And I'm definitely out here in the world, all the way with it, turban fezzed up. All right. This is a holy. Holy means complete, perfected. That's all it means. It's complete. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the Prophet is not right, the temple is not right. So if your state isn't operating right, if the Secretary of State isn't acting right, if your governor isn't acting right, then your state is not acting right. This is what he's telling you. In the temple, if your sheikh wasn't right, then your prayers would not be your offerings will not be accepted. Just like religiously for the Muslims who pray outwardly, right? If your imam, if it is known that the imam that is presiding over your khutbah and your jumu'ah is not, if it is known that he is not right and exact, and you still follow him as he or he leads prayer, your prayers are not accepted in Islam by Allah. Huh? This is for all of those who understand Islam, right, in its true religious foundation. So this is what he's expressing. If the Prophet is not right, the temple is not right. If the one who is leading, if your national representative, like Broswell Bay, if your national representative isn't representing the people correctly, then the office that he holds is not, it's not recognized. It's vacated. It's, here we go, it's de facto. And you can tell them all that I said this. You can tell them all if they don't like it to sue me. They can sue me in my professional and personal capacity if they don't like what I'm saying about them. Because again, I'm going to show you, I don't have the liability, the state does. The state will take care of it for me anyway. Because that's what Allah does for his prophets. You dig? Anywho, that's what the state does for its professional statesmen and women. All right. The Prophet is therefore sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their Prophet and the temple. That is what I'm up here doing. This is an everlasting movement founded by the Prophet through the will of Allah, meaning the people together as one, the state, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Sin is debt. He said to redeem you from your debtor ways. This is your debtor. This is your creditor. This is your creditor, your debtor. This is your national creditor. This is your international creditor. Okay? So again, this is what Drew Ali is telling us to everybody. Everybody. So again, you don't necessarily have to say, hey, I'm Moorish American to follow. This is for everybody. Part of me is like, damn, man, I shouldn't even put the title of L on my name, because if I had not done that, I wouldn't have had the issue that I'm going with. The title of L, post-1933, pre-1933, right? The title holder, it is now inherent and evident with the use of your passport. But I still desire to have my L just because I need to be a trailblazer, a pioneer. and show people, yeah, we actually do have L's, Bays, and Ali's and whatnot out here who are doing it right. All right. All right, I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to end this out, right? This is called A Divine Warning by the Prophet for the Nations. So I've been reading all of Drew Ali's warnings and statements to the nations, okay? So I'm going to read this, and I really hope... Damn, there's one more. This is all meaty as hell. We're going to get through it, though. All right. So I'm going to read this to you, and I need you all to really take comprehension. All right? The citizens, so Girardi already called us citizens. I couldn't even get no further than that. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. So Pennsylvania is a free national government with its own free national constitution. And everybody under Pennsylvania is a Pennsylvanian. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. So if you're not recognized as a state citizen, then all other state citizens can ignore your rights. Black means not recognized by the state. Yeah. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin, remember, sin is death, for any group of people. Remember, Drew Ali said American citizens of our group. So he's letting you know, and it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and the principles that delude to slavery. So Drew Ali just called his Moorish Americans American citizens, y'all. Absolutely. Okay. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah. So mind you, the great God Allah in this essence would be the whole Federal Republic of the United States, meaning the Republic and the Democratic Union. The democracy deals with all of the individual minor accounts, and they are linked with the district. All right, and your state deals with all of your limited liabilities, right? Anywho, I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to that state of mind, to their forefathers' divine and national principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. That's equity, right? That they will be law abiders and receive their divine right as citizens, but listen, according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. What constitution is he talking about? Is he talking about the divine constitution of the Moorish Sun Temple of America? No. No, he is not. What constitution is he talking about? find this for you. He's talking about this one. This is what he's talking about. This Constitution. This is the Constitution for all free national beings. United States of America. You heard? Listen to him. He says they are to claim their own free national name and religion. I am a Muslim Pennsylvanian American. I just did that. I put that on the DS11. Well, yeah. I made reference on the DS11 form, and I made reference on an affidavit to the same. What did he say? They are to do what? They are to claim their own free national name and religion. So Moorish American means an American of Islamic trusteeship within any of the states in the United States. Okay? Again, this is just a religious banner. This is not the flag of your nation state. This is the flag for all North African Muslim descendants. Right? Just like an Italian would fly the flag of Italy here in America, that doesn't mean that they're subjects of Italy. Just because I fly this flag here, it doesn't mean I'm a subject of Morocco. It means I've descended from Morocco. Get it? All right. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. Listen to him. There is but one. How many? There is but one. How many? There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth. How many issues? One. So all of this name correction and name change and correction and judicial notice and proclamation, all that shit is not necessary. There ain't but one issue. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement. Not the Moorish Science Temple of America. Not the Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs. Not the Moorish American Consulate. Not the Moorish American National Government. Not the Canaan Land Moors. Not the Moorish Science Temple of America Grand Major Temple on Wabash Avenue. Fuck no. No. Right? He said through the Moorish Divine National, the movement, the information in itself, which is a program. He said, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other. Somebody sent me a code. No, I don't know why they did that. Let me see. Which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. Again, the United States of America is recognized by all other nations. The Moorish Science Temple of America is not. Drew Ali was showing us through the temple how the state operates, y'all. The temple was the gift. It was the mercy. to show you what to look for when you leave out the temple and you're in your communities. What's up, baby boy? Everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just finish the bowl.
Okay. Listen. They are to claim their own. Okay. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens. So he said other citizens. Why? Because now they're citizens. If they do this, unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government, and not under a granted privileges, has been the existing condition for many generations. What is the voting condition that he's talking about? The privilege, 15th Amendment, which is associated with the 14th Amendment, which means that the 14th Amendment votes, right? These are U.S. citizens voting. They're not even coming for their state, out of their state. When you're done with your phone, you're off the camera, I heard you up. You know, that's all, I'm not sure that's true. Alright, Islam to that, alright. Alright. As soon as I'm done, I'll get on that, fella. Thank you. Drew Ali is telling you to come into your state. He just told you to cast the. He just told you to vote through your state. Says you who doubt whether I. You know what? I would like to finish reading this, but I do have to go take care of something. I do. I would encourage you all to get Noble Drew Ali's information, to study it, right, and to apply it, right, like I'm doing, right. This is an economic security program that is supposed to situate you in a better position economically. You can get this through the website. The link is in the bio. If you go to the home page, you can download the 4 PDFs that make this. And if you wish to have it compiled and sent to you, along with the other information, that's what the products, that's what the fee is for. The fee is not necessarily for the information, but it takes finance to produce, to do business, and so that is that. I appreciate you all for coming. As always, I'm your brother man, just come to show you the way to your salvation, back to your state. I am statesman Davis L., which basically is the same as saying prophet Davis L. Y'all take care.